Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the first ever episode 44 of Expansion Drive Podcast, your weekly source for all things nerdy, theme parks, video games, movies, TV, music, and sometimes a little wrestling. As always, I'm your host, Mike Kerrigan, with my friend to the left, at Blacknum's Prime himself, America's favorite worst producer ever, Didi.
Spring forward should be banned.
It may be. It may be just in Florida, though.
Please.
But that's terribly inconvenient if it's not everyone else.
Yeah, just travel up to Georgia and go back in time.
It's absolutely destroying me right now. I'm not even kidding you.
And to the right, returning to the show, Miss Tori Fox.
Hello, you got my name right.
I didn't say Fett. I'm okay.
Proud of you.
I think you
Nice
should stick
to be
with Tori Fett.
I'm cool with that. I'm not mad about it
That's
at
such
all.
a
I never
great
get
alias
mad.
name. Yeah, it's a great alias name.
Your mom would be mad, though.
Why?
No, she would. My mom loves Star Wars. She's good with it. She's fine.
And for the first time ever,
Oh my goodness.
we've been trying to get this guy on the show for months.
Since episode 1.
But as I stated on Twitter when I announced that he was coming on the show,
Guys.
he is the hardest working man in entertainment.
Hands down.
Our friend since, I've known you since 2004.
Yes.
Guys, you want me to tell you how busy he is? He's busier than Samuel L. Jackson was in 2010. He's busier than The Rock. He's busier than Kevin Hart.
Go ahead. You just make the announcement then. You're going on.
Gene, the man, the Gene Magee of Gene Magee.
Gene Magee. Thank you.
Hey! Gene, I'm so glad that we're able to line up schedules and come in because seriously, we've been wanting to have you on the show for forever.
It's been months, and each
legitimately.
of you individually have approached me.
I think there was literally a good 2-3 month period. Mike would text me, "Oh, do you think Gene would be available?" I'm like, I'll try.
Gene, are you being harassed? It's okay. Tell me.
It may be.
Blink twice for yes.
I'm bad with blinking.
But Gene, I've known Gene since 2004. How long have you known Gene?
When did I start going to TNA?
I don't know. That would be a question for yourself.
What was the earliest, your first time at TNA wrestling?
2006.
I'd say I've known
I think it
you
was
since
Mania weekend. I think 24. That was my first TNA show.
So that would have been.
Well, do you remember me in the ring pumping the crowd up?
Yes.
So I started that in 2005. I was with the company 2004. 2005 is when I started.
Okay.
So if you remember me being in the ring, that was from 2005 to about 2010.
Yeah. Jeez.
But if you remember in the ring, then that's at least 2005.
See, I remember Gene not in the ring.
Yes.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
Farther back.
He was the towel guy.
The towel guy. The double
Swinging
towel
towels.
guy. If you actually Google TNA towel guy, you actually see me. Not even joking.
Is that like a? I'm sorry, I've never really watched TNA.
okay.
I know what it is, but is that like a special? Like,
So
not that
it
it's
was
not-
an icon
you're
fan.
very special, but
So
is that like a specific
special.
position?
My mom says I'm special.
Like a specific position.
No, it was like icon fans. Like through time, we have like the sign guy and from WWF at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah, ECW
And there was a
stuff,
hat
yeah.
guy from ECW.
Yeah.
And the towel guy from TNA Wrestling. So it's an iconic fan. Usually the fans that sit in the same spot and they have the same gimmick, whether it's hat or a sign.
So you'd have like the front row, like the pit area. Yeah. So that would be like myself, Natalie, Bo, Fraka, Ryan, all of us. Right directly behind us would be Gene. And there was somebody else.
So there was a few of us. So there's actually a long history behind the towel guy and behind that seating arrangement. So it used to be, it was me and my friend Bill. And he used to work marketing for Universal there, but we sit next. Me and him are in the. Remember, we're on the Truth Killing. What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Me and him are in the intro video for him, doing the what's up. So it was me and Bill, and then our buddy Simon from Time Trivia. Me, him, Pete Martin. Wayne Ruffley, Leva, we all.
Oh God, I forgot.
We all
Leva.
met before Leva was. Yeah, we all met.
Blue pants.
And TNA Wrestling being in the audience, and my whole towel gimmick came from actually a whole separate thing. It started. So I used to work at Nickelodeon Studios at Universal back in 2004.
We're going to talk about that later.
Okay, well, the towels. So, when I would go to the tapings, I was wearing my purple Nickelodeon shirt. Well, I can't wear that on TV. So I was wearing an undershirt, so I had to take that off. And then I'm like, oh, I have a towel, so I'll just wave when something crazy happens. Well, then my friend, he was a security guard at Universal. His name was Albert. Albert Del Val. He was like, hey, you should have something like white so people could see it on TV. And well, my mom used to send me these Atlanta Falcons towels from Atlanta. She worked at the Georgia Dome, and I had them sit in my room for a while. I'm like, oh, these are white. Maybe so. And then I would wave the white towels, and I had two, and I waved both of them, and I wore a white hat so you could really see the white hat and the towels. So that's where it started from.
That's so crazy.
Just from just like, hey, you should do that. And
But so it was like your job.
no, not my job.
Oh, was it your job?
Whenever something amazing happened, it was almost like the seal of approval.
Got it.
Even the wrestlers backstage was like, we know he did something great. We saw the towels. So yeah, and then that led to being in the ring.
But we'll get
We'll
to
get to that.
We'll
That's
get all that.
another story.
Before we get into the story of Gene, because we're actually going to switch stuff up this week. Normally we go
What?
news and then we go topic of the show.
Get out.
Wow.
But Gene is so awesome. We're actually going to go topic of the show first.
Nice.
Before we get into that, we'd like to thank a couple sponsors. So thank you to MEI Travel, Mouse Fan Travel, and Universal Fan Travel for sponsoring the show. They're your
Thank
go-to
you.
source for all things Disney,
Yep.
Universal,
And
cruises.
cruises,
So
baby.
if you want a free quote with no obligation, go ahead and
None.
reach out to them. They're going to get you a great deal, whether, like I said, going to Disney World, Disneyland, Universal, Orlando, or Hollywood. Cruises, Adventures by Disney, they're going to be able to help you out with a really great price. And make sure you go up on the website, free quote with no obligation.
None.
Again, we're here at Gods and Monsters right here in their Vault 5421, their specialty bar.
Ow.
It's open right now from Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Usually around 11, depending what day you're coming out, maybe till 1 a.m. The Gods and Monsters is an awesome place. They got a bunch of cool comic stuff, a bunch of really cool toys that you want to check out. Matter of fact, I think I may be signing up for a couple weeks from now. They're doing a family tutorial for Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
So
let's go.
that would be something cool to do with the kids. They love Stranger Things. They love the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing about it. So it's really cool, pretty cheap, to try it out. And they give you a whole little figure to test it out and whatnot. So we're gonna try and do that out. So make sure if you're in Orlando, check out Gods and Monsters. And of course, if you don't know, not this Friday. Next Friday.
Next Friday,
The 23rd. We're sponsoring up with, or we're not sponsoring, we're partnering up with Hard Rock Live to bring video games live right here to Orlando. If you don't know, it's a really awesome show brought to you by Tommy Tallarico. And if you don't know who he is, he's done a bunch of awesome games like Time Crisis.
Earthworm Jim 2.
Earthworm
Look
Jim.
at that.
Now,
Look at
Gene,
the first one, too.
Gene, you were talking to us about this before the show.
Yes.
That you have this great connection to Earthworm Jim 2.
I kind of do. So, as I mentioned earlier to you guys before we started taping, I'm former military. I was in the Navy.
Thank you for your service.
But right before I left for boot camp, June of '96, the last game I played on Sega Genesis was Earthworm Jim 2. And for some reason, the music to the stage Lorenz Soil, as supposed to take on Lorenzo's oil, whatever. It was like a pun. It just had this epic sweeping 90s rock. And I don't know why, but it stuck in my head all throughout boot camp, even when I was doing the push-ups and all the things I had Tommy Tallarico's Earthworm Jim 2 theme in my head the whole time. So
That's awesome.
So that's cool. When you brought up that name, I knew right away. Tommy Tallarico.
Like you said, or like we said, if you go to the show next week, it's super cheap. You go up to Hard Rock Live, you can actually get the tickets with no extra fees.
None.
So make sure you go up there. Don't go to Ticketmaster. Go to the Hard Rock box office. They're going to help you out.
Yeah.
The show it's really great. They're going to play such music from Final Fantasy VII, Earthworm Jim. I'm sure is going to be played.
And they announced today Undertale is going to be part of it too.
Oh, awesome! Very cool.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool.
I think they've been doing Pokemon lately. What's some Chrono Trigger? You name it. All the big music from any of the video games, they're going to be playing it there. And like we said, it's a great orchestra that actually comes in. It's usually the Orlando Philharmonic that comes in and plays. It's just a great show. Like we said, go up to Hard Rock Live and get your tickets there. Victoria, anything going on with you?
Yes.
Man, you got
I feel like I had things to talk about. I always forget. What?
We did hang out at the Edison.
We did?
Was that your first time at the
so
Edison?
fun. Oh no.
No? Oh.
That
Sorry.
was my first time. I sat down and was like, "I'll have this drink, please. Thank you."
Oh man. Yeah, what
Get
was
the
it you guys were having? 'Cause
electric
everybody
mule.
at work
Delicious.
was asking like what the drink was, and I can't remember what was the something.
electric mule.
The
Electric
electric mule.
mule.
Okay.
Yeah. Delicious. Best
Very
drink on the
good.
menu, in my opinion.
I'm really digging the place. And Gene, have you been in there yet?
I haven't. I was
Really?
told to try the bacon.
Yeah,
Oh, the bacon on the clothesline.
Bacon on the clothesline.
That thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right,
the
we
thing
saw
that
that.
Rocca was like following the guy up the stairs for.
Rocca saw that and she's like, "Is that bacon?" And he's
Yes.
seriously just walking up the stairs with like slices of bacon hanging on this clothesline. It
I love
looked really good.
America.
Yes.
And Gene, you're always having like the best food, concoctions I've ever seen.
Yes, it's kind of my thing. And backstage at TNA Wrestling, I'm known for pairing together stuff they get from craft services. They'll bring food, and I'll just kind of like, oh, this will go with this. I'll take like a roll and a big cheese roll they'll have back there and hollow it out and put like a roast beef in it and put cheese and.
Gene is like my arch enemy.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, I don't like any of my food touching.
Oh.
So Gene is like my
I like
kryptonite.
all my food
oh
touching.
no!
So
Oh,
are you
man.
capable of eating like sandwiches?
No, I'm just joking because he's saying he's putting everything together.
Oh yeah, I
Because
mix.
that's a sandwich when he just this.
No.
I mix.
But like Thanksgiving time, I have to have that separator tray. I don't want any of my turkey touching, my
man.
green beans.
Oh, one
I
of
don't
my
want
favorite
it.
things is having a waffle cone with Thanksgiving in it. Have you had a waffle cone with turkey, mashed potatoes,
I don't know if I
cranberries,
could do the
stuffing?
waffle cone
But-
taste
but
is
the-
kind of sweet.
But the waffle
Oh.
was a savory. It was a seasoned waffle cone.
Oh.
Like it was a veteran waffle cone. It was seasoned at this.
You might have gotten me there. If it was like a pumpkin one.
That could be a thing.
That'd be good.
These millennials and their
Why
pumpkins.
not?
I know these
Millennials.
waffle
I'm
cones.
not obsessed with pumpkin. I'm just saying that's a seasonal thing with Thanksgiving. It would complement the rest of the food very well.
Well, it would be if you have the mashed potatoes and you have the
Yeah.
cranberries.
Now I'm getting hungry though.
I
do
know,
want to
man,
go
I'm
to-
starving.
Hungry, guys.
We can go to Wawa or even what's the sandwich place at Disney Springs? The Earl Sandwich.
Earl Sandwich?
They
Earl
have that
Sandwich.
Thanksgiving sandwich over there. Oh, it's really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Thanksgiving. For the holidays at the poutine place, they have Thanksgiving poutine.
They do. It's delicious. I've had
It
it.
was the best.
I'm so scared to try poutine, to be
Poutine.
perfectly honest.
The stuff at Disney Springs is
Yeah.
All right, so what
incredible.
is the poutine? Like,
Poutine
what,
is basically fries, gravy, and cheese curds. It's Canadian.
But so they have different kinds at Disney Springs.
Yes.
My favorite one is the Latin one, I believe
There's
is what they call
the-
it.
with the
So
yuca.
that's got like some really nice like shredded beef, some black beans, some little like cheese curds that are
Oh,
more
that
like
sounds so good.
yeah, it's so good. And then like he said,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving one they have the turkey and
And they'll have an
oh, so
Italian
good.
one.
The Italian I haven't tried that.
Oh, is
I-
it like tomato sauce and
I can't
mozzarella?
break away from the Latin. I have to have that every time.
I have
So
to have
good.
whatever is the special. So my thing is whenever I travel or go anywhere, I always try whatever's local or special or unique or
that's fair.
new. So whatever is because they frequently update their poutine. It's cool. So they'll have like a cheeseburger poutine or this poutine. And so if we go to Disney Springs tonight, it's going to be poutine that we haven't seen. Hey, that rhymed.
Oh,
Man.
I got bars, yo.
yeah.
No.
So Gene, like we said,
Yes.
I was introduced to you, within TNA Wrestling.
Yes.
But you have a long history in the Orlando entertainment.
Yes.
I don't know what's the word.
Conglomerate?
Scene. Yeah,
Yes.
conglomerate.
Yes.
Oh, God, I like
Ooh,
that.
wow,
Good word.
that was a
yeah.
big
Yeah.
word. That was a $5 word.
All right.
Woo.
Give me my
Thesaurus.
give me my word belt. Woo.
So as you said, you
Yes.
you were in the Navy.
Yes, I was in the Navy about over 20 years ago. Believe it or not, I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 this year.
This
So,
guy.
so I started my career in the Navy, as I said, in '96. I did 3 years active. I worked in naval aviation, and I went all around the world. Went to Japan, Guam, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, Korea, Dubai, Bahrain, Hawaii, California,
Oh my God.
Bremerton, Washington, which is near Seattle.
How do you remember all that? Oh my gosh.
Because it's ingrained in you, and everything I said was in the order that we sailed. So
This guy.
I sailed. My first ever sailing was USS Independence, which is now decommissioned. It was early '97. We went to Guam, Sydney, Australia, Perth, and then we went to Singapore and Malaysia. They're almost connected.
Wow.
Then Thailand is right around the corner from there. And then we went back home to Japan. And then we went to Hong Kong. We might have come back from the Persian Gulf to go to Hong Kong. And then Hong Kong was like a one-off one, or it might have been the same time as. Anyway, I just remember those in those orders because that's why I've been saying it for years. But one thing I regret not doing. Now I just told you guys I always eat local wherever I go. I try the local,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. mhm.
When I was in Navy, I did not do that, and
Oh,
I kicked
no.
myself. I was fresh out. I was a kid.
Wow.
I was 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I told you all those countries I went to. I didn't try any of the locals. I was like, what's the closest McDonald's? What's the closest?
That kills me.
I was that American. And
Well,
what,
even then, sometimes they have cool menus at McDonald's. Sorry.
well,
That's
they
so
did.
true.
So in Japan, they had like the teriyaki McBurger. And,
What?
Oh man,
yeah.
I'm so
Sounds
jealous.
good.
Man.
Is it
Bro.
teriyaki?
All
This
the
was back.
McDonald's menus are really good far away from
Over,
here.
yeah.
Let's buy a $3,000 plane ticket to just try the teriyaki,
yeah, teriyaki
McBurger.
McBurger. I mean,
I
I
will
don't know
do
if they
it.
still do it. I remember Singapore, they had really awesome chicken. McDonald's had, I mean, now it is caught up. This is once again in 97.
Yeah.
The one in Hong Kong had beer on tap. It was Carlsberg,
Wow.
the beer on
okay,
tap.
okay.
I remember that. So yeah, I took, Thailand was the first time I ever had chicken on pizza. So they had a Pizza Hut. And they put chicken. I thought that was the craziest thing. Now
I eat
it's,
it all
it's
the time
regular.
now.
Now
Yeah.
it's
Now here
regular.
we are,
Buffalo
yeah.
chicken pizza.
But yeah, buffalo, but-
buddy.
But this is like grilled.
Oh, you don't
chicken.
like buffalo though.
No.
Yeah, this is like just grilled chicken on a pizza.
Really?
And I'm like, this is crazy. But hindsight, there's a lot more I could have tried. All those countries I just said, I didn't. And what
That
really
kills
woke
me.
me up was some years ago, I was watching Travel Channel, and they were going through the countries I've been through. I'm like, why didn't I see this? Why didn't I try this? So I made it a mission to wherever I go, what's local, what's unique, what are you guys known for? That's where I go for. So
That's awesome.
so that's where my Navy experience, So I did the Navy thing from 96 to 99. I was active. What got me out was I was following a dream. I followed my dream. I was in the Persian Gulf. I remember just looking out on the water and just realizing this isn't what I'm here for. I had that realization, like,
And how far were you into the Navy then?
I was, 98. I was on my second ship, the USS Carl Vinson. Now, the reason why I was on two ships, normally if I have 3 years, it's one ship. The Independence was decommissioning. It was on its way out. So I went to the older ship in the Navy. I had 9 months left on my enlistment. So I could either go back to Japan on the Kitty Hawk or go to some carriers in San Diego or go to Bremerton, Washington. Well, I used to live in Seattle as a kid. So I'm like, that's my childhood. And they have mountains, and I love mountains. But anyway, so I remember being on the Carl Vinson and doing the aviation job. And it's like, this isn't it. I wanted to travel, but the aviation thing, this isn't it. One of the things I've always wanted to do when I was, ever since I was a kid,
Yeah.
was to work at Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Orlando. So I was a Nick kid. I grew up with everything Nickelodeon. So from You Can Do That Television to all that to Keenan and Kel. So Alex
here
Mack,
it goes.
really. So Roundhouse.
Alex Mack.
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
I had a crush on that
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
I'm
Who
just gonna
did it?
say.
Man, she
Oh,
was-
Yeah,
even
Alex
when she
Mack.
was a puddle.
Yes, she was there. That puddle, like the T1000.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember that show, Tori?
I don't think I remember that.
Alex
I
Mack,
remember
the
all
sequel.
the other ones.
Alex Mack.
Man.
Yeah, it was on Snick.
Secret, yeah, it was on.
Man,
It was
I
like
don't
those
remember
first
that
shows
one. I
at 8
remember
o'clock.
every other one
Yep,
though.
yep. It was Alex Mack.
It was like a chemical spill that went on.
yeah,
or
a
something,
chemical
right?
spill, and then she could just kind of melt like the T1000 from Terminator.
Oh my
Terminator
god.
two.
Yeah,
It was so
Mel
good.
go,
I wonder what
Yeah.
she's up to now. She's still acting?
She's on a show, I think. Yeah, her
Really?
name was Larissa Olnick.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
I was gonna say, I remember that. I remember that name.
I know she's
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
show. I don't really keep up with it.
I don't remember
But I
him
watched
also.
all Nickelodeon growing up in the early '90s. It kind of shaped a lot of my sense of humor. Well, being on the ship, I would always wouldn't it be really cool to move to Orlando and backtrack. I had family in Orlando. My stepdad's family. I'm from Atlanta. We would have our Christmas and Thanksgiving. It's a 6.5, 7-hour drive from Atlanta to Orlando. We come to Orlando to visit family, my cousins and my grandma, my stepdad's side of the family. But every time we come down there, I'm like, can we go to Nickelodeon? Can we go to Universal? Can we go? I was always wanting to go to Nickelodeon, Universal. And I remember we went once, and my stepdad was like, let's start with the back of the park and go to the front. By the time I got to the front, Nickelodeon was closed for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
'cause it
forgave
closed
him for
early,
that.
yeah.
This was like 91, 92. I must have been 12 or 13, and I'm like, never again. So we did our ROTC field trip in 94. I was in Air Force ROTC. My friends went down. We took a big bus. Did Disney, Universal, Kennedy Space Center. I told my friends, we get to Universal, our first stop is Nickelodeon. I don't care what else we do. They're like, okay. So we got to Nickelodeon Studios. This must have been 94. As soon as I got in there, I'm like, that's when that initial.
That epiphany.
I didn't know what it was, but I was 15. I'm like, this is where I need to be. I don't know how. I don't know where, what, why, but it felt like, but then took it out of my mind. I'm in the military. I'm going to be in the military. This is my path. I was ROTC. I've joined the Navy, and I always thought your dream job was you dream about it, but you don't really do it. You do your real job.
Yeah.
You always have your dream job to keep you working. So I remember being out to sea in the Carl Vinson and just like, this isn't it. And when you're out to sea, a lot of guys talk about what you did back home, back in the States, what you do. Well, I was a kid. The only thing I did, I worked at Six Flags over Georgia. That was it.
Yeah.
All the other guys, like, I used to do this, and I did this, and I didn't have it. Well, somebody's like, well, what is it that you want to do? I'm like, I've always wanted to move to Orlando, Florida, and work for Nickelodeon Studios. And then somebody said the best question in my life that changed everything. They're like, why aren't you doing that now? I didn't
have
know.
an answer.
I literally didn't know. I'm like, what? I never thought to, like,
Yeah.
pursue it. And then they're like, so, well, how would you do it? And I'm like, well, I'd have to get out. I would use the GI Bill to study theater. I'd probably get my old job back at Six Flags. I'll probably switch jobs from Navy. If I were to stay in Navy, I'll go in the reserves and become a journalist because that's more entertainment, because TV, radio.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. The more I thought about it, I'm like, wait, I can do this. It seemed attainable once I talked it out.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. I got out. I used the GI Bill to study theater. I switched jobs from aviation to journalist, and that's a story in itself. That could be a whole nother segment. The quick thing, and then got my old job back at Six Flags over Georgia, and I went into entertainment. I was in attractions before, got in entertainment. Started auditioning for things. My first ever big acting job was I was a ringmaster for a Russian circus. So I speak a little Russian. Ruski, привет, как дела? Очень хорошо. I just said, hi, how are you? Good. That was my first acting job. So that was the summer 2001. I was still going back and forth between reservist, college student, and actor.
Okay.
So I felt like everything was prepping me for my Orlando. I still didn't know how to get to Orlando, but I knew it was on the right track.
Yeah.
So this is summer 2001. I'm doing a circus. I had to go to Virginia. They send me every year. You go 2 weeks, 1 week, a month, 2 weeks. 1 week and a month, 2 weeks out of the year for reservists.
Okay.
So I remember going to Virginia. They sent me to D.C. They sent me to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico for my radio training and my newspaper training. Virginia for local boy, local sailor did this. Local woman did this from your hometown. So, and then D.C. was like the TV aspect. So I had everything, but I didn't know how to get to Orlando. Everything was working. Now what? So I took a chance. I took all my theater requirements. It was a 2-year college in Stone Mountain, Georgia, called Georgia Perimeter. Georgia State has since taken over. I took all my theater requirements and maybe a little math, little English here, but I didn't finish my degree. My mom's not too happy with that. My brother now has graduated from college, so I'm off the hook. So he's graduated with honors from Morehouse. So I just felt that it was time. So I took all my acting, all my directing classes. I did everything I felt like in the reserves. So I'm like, you know what? This is it. I'm just going to take a chance and just come to Orlando. I had money saved up. My mom didn't want me to, but she was like, I'll help you out. So we found a place on OBT. My first place I ever lived here.
Oh boy,
it was
here
on
we
OBT.
go. Oh man.
Yeah, but it was closer to the Florida Mall area.
Oh, okay.
As long as you're on Florida Mall, you're
It was
okay.
close. It
You're
was right
okay.
next to the bowling lane. It was called, I think, Savannah Suites or something.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
where the Chick-fil-A and bowling alley is now,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That was called something else.
Yeah.
But that was my first ever extended stay, an OBT, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. What do I do now? So I knew Nickelodeon, Universal was my goal, but I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket. So I interviewed. I went and read at Disney,
Okay.
and I put in applications to SeaWorld and of course Universal. Just everywhere. Just hit the ground running. And then Universal was the first to call. They were like, all right, this is where I want it. But I started in attractions. I
Okay.
started at Earthquake as a spieler.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, if this is as far as I get, then it's a success. I made it to Orlando. I got into, something. But I would always go to Nickelodeon Studios and watch all the shows. And then I would get to know the people, and they got to know me. And they would say, hey, you might want to audition. Auditions are coming up. This is 2003, 2004, before, we're connected on our phones and the internet. So
yeah,
I had to
yeah,
rely.
yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, yeah, you should. And it took me 7 auditions to get into Nickelodeon. Now, in between, I did Halloween Horror Nights and the Macy's Parade, because at any audition, I was just auditioning, just anything in
'cause,
entertainment.
yeah.
So I did Halloween Horror Nights.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing.
Nothing changed, yeah.
No.
Yeah, 2003, I did Halloween Horror Nights, and then right into Macy's, and I kept auditioning. And then finally, I got the call from Nickelodeon, like, "Hey, you made it." So that was 2004, and that's when I felt like this is it. I did it, from that 1997, 98, being out to sea to now 2004. I had a goal, and I attained it, and I did it, and I was at Nickelodeon Studios.
That's
from
crazy.
04 to when it closed.
Yeah.
So-
Now, what all did you do in Nickelodeon? I know a little bit about what you did.
I was what they call a game lab assistant. Now, my ultimate goal is to be a host. I've always wanted to be a game show host or Nickelodeon host, which I never got to do, but I still am on that track as being an MC host, among other things. But I was basically an assistant to all the games. We did I think 6 shows a day. It was, and one thing I noticed is Universal Nickelodeon and Nickelodeon Productions were 2 different people, 2 different animals.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the ones that did the TV shows were not the ones at Universal. I didn't know this at all. And it was crazy because I was at naive, like, oh, we're all one big happy family. So I would go to the production side, and other people like, hey, we don't go on that other side there. I'm like, why not? I mean, we're Nickelodeon, one big happy family. They're like,
Oh no.
yeah, I was like the Pollyanna
Yeah.
wide-eyed.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't so much. It was strained at best relationship with production and Universal.
Wow.
I knew none of it. I was happy-go-lucky. This is my dream job.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all in this together, you
Yeah.
know? So anyway, I
Almost
was.
seems like a little bit like the wrestling business to a certain extent, a little bit.
You know what? It's parallel to wrestling. Yeah.
I mean, because you'd be backstage at
Oh,
TNA.
yeah,
You were
yeah.
working there for a little while too.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yeah, we. I mean, some people were cool that they
Yeah.
talked to you and
Yep.
whatnot, but then others. But
You've seen the other.
It seemed like more though with TNA. It was like most of the people were cool with it. It was just like the 2 or 3 of them that were like,
that came from WWE basically.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, but anyway, so my job in Nickelodeon was to be a game lab assistant. I got to help with the games, and one of the coolest jobs I ever got to do was to make slime and make slime in the morning. Now, here's the thing. So the people I work with have been doing for years, so they were just kind of like whatever. But to me, I'm like, what? so
I remember them telling you how you make it on
so
the tour.
It's totally
Yeah.
different wherever Nickelodeon. I found out
What?
wherever Nickelodeon is different from how we learned it because it serves a different purpose. And so when we did it, well, first of all, slime is supposed to be natural, comes from the earth.
Are you gonna tell us how to make it?
We
Well,
had
they
a,
teach you on the tour. Do
Well,
you remember going on the tour?
Absolutely not.
Oh, because I
So-
remember on the
Sorry.
tour they would be like, it was a house fly, it was this and this, like all this disgusting stuff. Like,
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
what I
remember
was when I
something
did
about
the
watermelon or
when I did
something
the
like that,
studios
too.
tour. It was just like a whole
Well,
combination,
Like a
of
whole
just,
kayfabe
well,
about it.
actually, so what it's supposed to be, slime is supposed to be natural. It comes from the earth. We had a slime guys that are out front of Nickelodeon Studios.
I remember
interrupt
that.
every maybe 30 minutes. So that's where we got
Man,
our
that
slime
thing was
from.
so awesome.
So-
God, the slime guys.
if any kid is like, hey, how do you make slime? Well, we don't make slime. It comes from the earth. Now, gack you can make, but slime you cannot make. So, with that said, here's how we made slime from that time period. Now, it has changed and evolved, and if it's for TV, it's different from what we did. So we have like these big buckets, 2 big buckets, like these size buckets.
So for those audio listeners, it's like
Yeah.
like 5 gallons or so, right?
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
like a 5-gallon bucket you get from
Yeah.
like
5
Ace
gallon
or
bucket.
something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So 2 big buckets. The key ingredient to our slime is methacellulose. We call it methacell. It's a thickening agent that restaurants use to thicken gravies. So it's tasteless, but it thickens. It's a thickening
Interesting.
agent.
Huh.
So we put a couple scoops of methacell in the bucket, and then you fill it up halfway with warm water, and a little bit more than half, I should say. And then we would put industrial cans of applesauce. in it.
Applesauce, that's what it was.
That's what makes it all chunky.
And that's the chunky. And then for the Nickelodeon green, it was 2 circles. We have food coloring, 2 circles of green and a half circle of yellow, and filled up the rest. I think it was cold water, and it was that lime green.
Yeah.
And we'd make it like an hour or so before the show. So by the time it got to its first kid, it was thick and it was warm. So it's supposed to come from the earth.
Yeah.
So that was our slime. Now, with that said, there was a TV show, it was a short-lived show called Splat from 04, 05, and
I remember that.
I got a chance to I got to juggle on their show for a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's
wow.
another story for another time. But anyway, their slime. The cool thing. The cool thing is we made our slime in the GAC kitchen. So it's one of the few times we're actually working with production. So the same, the GAC Meister for the TV shows, we shared the same space. He's a cool guy. His name is Ken. Really nice guy. So we'd be back to back. When they're making their slime and mess, we're making, actually we're early in the morning. We're done by the time they start theirs. But his slime is a little bit different because on Splat, the winning bleacher got slime shot out of a cannon, and at the end of every show, whoever won, it was red, yellow, or blue, or green team, whatever. Your team won. There was 3 air cannons that got shot. But I guess
Oh my God.
I guess the way that we made it, I guess it just didn't look camera. Maybe it was a scatter shot. So instead of applesauce, I believe they did vanilla pudding, and it was able to kind of string across.
Oh,
the
wow.
can
Oh,
and shoot
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything we put on a kid's head or face has to be edible and
Oh,
usually
okay,
delicious.
okay.
So it'd be that sweet substance of applesauce or
Sorry. My water
Drop
bottle.
the stuff
I'm
in
so
there.
It's okay, it's
sorry,
okay, it
I'm
happens.
sorry.
Water broke.
Continue with your
That was
story.
me.
No. But yeah, so that was a little bit my history, and in 2008 I got a chance to work with production. So Nickelodeon closed in 05. 3 years later, they did a remake of Guts called My Family's Got Guts.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
And I worked simultaneously with TNA Wrestling and Nickelodeon. We had to recruit audience for TNA Wrestling, and the same day, a recruit audience for this Nickelodeon show. So I literally had to put on 2 hats and 2 shirts. So,
do you have it?
but yeah, remake. And the reason why I was on Guts was because of TNA Wrestling, because my boss Deneen Neal at the time, she was the audience coordinator for every TV show that ever come through Universal for
yeah.
like years.
Yeah.
Well, one day she was like, "So I might have this opportunity. You told me you've always wanted to work for Nickelodeon TV show." I'm like, "Yes." She's like, "I might be the audience coordinator for a remake of Guts. If I get on the show, do you want to be an audience recruiter with me? Do you want to, work with me?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a Pope crap in the woods." So it happened. And she called me first. She's like, it's happening. Do you want to be on? And yes, I was the first one to call to be the audience recruiter for My Family's Got Guts for the summer of 2008, which is also the year I turned 30, 8808, August 8, 2008. So I was living my dream. So I'm still remember USS Carl Vincent, remember that dream I had, and so it all came. So now, Nickelodeon, that dream has rested because they had Nickelodeon Hotel, which has since closed.
I remember
But
that.
I never
Yeah.
went
So
out to
sad
that.
about that.
I never went out to that. I'm like, Nickelodeon to me was Universal. A lot of my friends went out to the Nick Hotel, but I'm like, Nickelodeon was that studio there and
Yeah.
anything in the sound stages. But since I did what I came here to do, that was it. So I'm like, you know what? I did it. That dream has, achievement unlocked, so to speak.
Yeah.
The dream is achieved. So now I'm find myself being like Forrest Gump. I just luck in the most amazing situation. I don't have
Right.
a plan anymore. I just kind of like, oh, this is cool. And now I'm on TV somewhere. Now I'm on tour.
That's wild.
Or just right place, right time. It's just like, what next? I
It's-
don't know.
It's like the quintessential story of one door closes and
Literally.
2,000
bazillion
two
open up.
bazillion more opened up. Like
That is so true.
I still remember, and I was crushed. But then after that, it's just.
Yeah.
I guess you guys. I don't know if it's the best thing that's ever happened, but
Well-
wow, it's wild what happens. Just all this.
Well,
He's never
especially
home.
a few years ago with Disney, like I was the main MC for Street Party for years. I was contracted from 2013, 2016.
Still
Wait,
best.
for which
Still
one?
the main, still the best.
For which one?
The main
Let me
one.
check it.
Oh my
The Street
god,
Party.
that's why you look familiar. I'm literally picturing you in the outfit. Like, oh
Yeah, I was the guy talking for years. I was the MC. I still am. No, I just was the main MC. Was full time.
So really quick before
Yeah.
you go into it, so Didi and I went like maybe a month and a half ago, something
Yeah.
like that, and we saw Move It, Shake It, and we were basically doing your whole shtick. Like we
I
did-
still remember. I still remembered. I'm still like repeating everything. I went with my mom again. Like,
Oh, did you?
when I went with my mom like a week later, and I'm doing all this stuff. I still did the Tim Tebow, all this stuff,
Yes.
the Double J, everything.
the
my mom's
Double J
like,
one,
I'm
yeah.
like, what are you doing? I go, Mom, this was when
Yes.
the before it was they changed the gimmick.
Yes.
The one before that was so much more catchier.
Yeah.
It was.
And
so
so I just know everything.
Are you the pre-recorded audio?
I am not. So
Because we
so wait.
swear it's you.
No, that you're very valid to think that way because I thought it was me at one point. So when they switched over from Move and Shake It, Celebrate It to Move and Shake It, Dance and Play It, they sent us the audio of the new show that's about to happen. And when I first heard it and I heard the voice, I was like, when did I record the? Why does this sound like me? So I went to my show director. I was like, hey, cool show. So who's doing the intro voice? That sounds a lot like me. She's like, oh, there's this. He's a DJ at Disney Springs, and he's actually a DJ at Tomorrowland, and he's now since been one of our MCs. But back then he was not an MC.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, this guy named Christian DeLeon. I'm like, oh no, Christian, he's a good guy, friendly guy, good energy, good spirit, and an acrobat, and anything he can do.
It's the guy with the fro, right?
No, not the guy with the fro.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
You don't see Christian that often, but he
okay.
mainly does the Tomorrowland dance party.
Okay.
Super tight, just backflips, like it just
Wow.
good energy.
Oh,
like,
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So
okay.
I went to Christian. I was like, Christian, so you recorded the intro for the new show? He's like, yeah. He said, here's the crazy part. He's like, I actually never really seen Move and Shake It Celebrated in person because he's working as a DJ so much. So he went on YouTube to see what the show's about, and almost all the YouTube clips back then were of me. So he's like, I saw you, and I heard. So I think he was trying to channeling me when he was recording it. But funny thing is, when I was doing that show, I was channeling the original guy that recorded it, a guy named Jared, who recorded this. So I was channeling his voice to sound consistent with the show. So that's my version of this guy named Jared. Well, now it sounds like Christian's is me and Jared recording the intro to Move It, Shake It, Dance and Play It.
And what's funny now, the guy with the fro, the one that we
Vinny.
call Austin Creed Jr. He sounds like you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have like the same like things that he says or whatever, but just his voice, it just reminds me of you as well.
That makes sense. Almost all the MCs had to watch me at one point. I was still like the standard, so to speak. Even when I wasn't full time, even when I was part time or even seasonal, a lot of the management would tell the new MCs, "Hey, make sure." I mean, you watch everybody, obviously, watch all the MCs.
Yeah.
But Gene is the man.
But
Watch him.
I've been there longer than all of them. 8 years. 8 years. So what happened a few years ago? My contract was not renewed. It came as a shock. It was 2 years ago. Came out of nowhere. So the one catch to being an equity performer at Disney. So the awesome thing about it is they pay us a lot. They treat us well. They treat us like rock stars.
You get like 5-hour breaks. So they can go hang out
I
with
get
us.
a 5-hour break. I get to go to the park.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'll never forget this.
I was like, there would actually be times where, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
cut
you're
you off.
good. You're good.
There would be times where Frocka and I and the kids would be out in the park, and we'd watch Gene in the parade. And he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing afterwards?" I'm like, "Just hanging out at the park." Can I join it? Sure.
Yeah.
So we'd
Yeah.
be hanging out in the park with Gene before he has to go on to another show at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. So it was
and like for 2 years straight, Jamie Morris and I, we went out there every Friday for 2 years. We'd get there around like 2-3 o'clock. Gene would text us, "Hey, you here?" Yep. We would go see Pirates.
watch the Jack Sparrow show.
Watch the Jack Sparrow show. And then he'd be like, "All right, I gotta go." Or he would meet us like at Epcot or Hollywood, wherever we were, and then we would go see Jack Sparrow, and then
Yeah, so the way the
it's
schedule
crazy.
worked, it was 3 shows. It was 11, 12:30, and 5:40. The reason why there was such a long break for that 3 o'clock parade, well, there's no MC for 3 o'clock parade, so I had that break
Yeah.
just to do whatever. As long as I was back in time for the 5:40 show, they didn't care.
so cool.
So I would stay on property. I didn't go too far. I love watching shows. So I'd go watch shows at Epcot, or The Magician at Hollywood Studios, or
Jack Diamond.
Jack Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the man.
Good guy. But anyway, so my contract abruptly ended 2 years ago. Came out of nowhere. I thought had another contract. So that's the thing about equity. They treat us well. They pay us well. But if you're part-time or full-time, it's only year to year. So we're contracted. Even though we work for Disney, we are contracted. Your contract's not guaranteed the next year. So it's that one day of the year. So it almost feels like the purge, where you walk into this room and you find out if you're contracted for the next year. Now, if you get a contract, you can negotiate for more money. That's another thing that was part of the union thing. So you don't have to take what they give you. You can negotiate. And I started from not knowing how to negotiate to being able to negotiate like massive raises for myself. And that was something I didn't know I was good at. I was like, present your case of why you feel like you deserve more. But so I had everything ready this time around. I walked in the room, and they're like, "So we don't have anything for you, but we're gonna keep you on, and I thought it was like a joke or something. I'm like, oh, this is no.
Wait for the camera show.
Yeah, like
When's Mickey come out?
yeah, like is this no? Okay. So it was my casting director and a lot of upper management in Disney, and they're like, we don't have an offer for you this time. Your contract will end 30 days from now. You can still stay on. And this is where it got real. They're like, so if you need help with medical benefits, here's a number you can call. They slid this pay. I was like, oh, this is real. Okay, so I had to get my wits about me. And I'm like, this is, okay, in 30 days.
gosh.
So I thanked everybody in the room. I thanked my casting director. I'm like, thank you for casting me in this role. This is a dream job. I love my cast. I love my crew, my management. And this is honesty. I love everything about that. And, and I shook everybody's hand in that room. I'm like, thank you, and I'll be fine. I still had Universal. I never quit Universal. So as soon as I stepped out, I called Universal, hey, in 30 days, I'm available. The 30 days hit, Universal's like, we got you. And Disney's like, we still need you too. So that was it. I went back and forth. And
That's why we legit say the hardest working
hustle.
man.
Yeah, the
Be-
hardest working
because
hustler.
There's always time where Gene is going back and forth, working every single day.
every day, yep.
I remember that.
And
yeah.
then the tour came about. Somebody says, hey, you want to travel? I know you're free. Yes, I want to travel. Yes, I'm free. So,
And
then so I got on this tour as an MC for Progressive Boat Shows.
that's crazy. No,
Which is also cool.
one of the cooler things that I saw that you did was that this past holiday.
Yes.
You were like the hype man
Yes.
for the Disney Christmas parades.
So-
or not the parade, but like the shows and whatnot that were coming up.
Yes.
Man.
So just like we said, it's the stage he's going through. Don't worry about it. So remember how I told you I shook everybody's hand?
Yeah.
I thanked everybody.
Mm.
One thing you always learn, I guess in general in life, especially entertainment,
Mhm.
don't burn any bridges.
Exactly.
Yep.
Absolutely,
Don't
yeah.
flip it like if I was in that meeting flipping tables and be like, you owe me, how dare you?
I don't think I
would
could ever see Gene doing
I
that. to
would,
begin
yeah,
with.
and it's not
No,
my
it's
nature.
too nice.
So Disney, true to their word, would call me for, and they said, we'll keep calling you for things. True to their word, they kept calling me for things. So the biggest thing I ever done in my life was this past holiday, what Mike
Wow.
was talking about.
This is huge.
Was they were like, hey, would you like to be the warm-up for the Christmas filmings? So, yeah, I mean, everybody knows the Christmas filmings.
Yeah.
And no matter where you are in America, Christmas mornings, you're watching that Disney parade. Right before or after Christmas Story. So, the cool thing is, my mentor, a guy named Mark Daniels, who's an amazing
Coolest
guy,
guy.
coolest
Great guy.
I see him all the time at the when they do the Parks Blog meetups
Yeah.
and
Oh,
whatnot.
really? He's
Yeah,
that
he's
guy.
always there.
Right on.
So-
He was there when I met Nick Foles, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Look
Mark
at that.
Daniels, and Mark Daniels normally does it. Him and a guy named Cameron Matthews, another amazing performer. Mark was going to be out of town for a couple days. I was on the list of MCs. Now I don't know if I was next on the list or number 10 on the list, but
It doesn't
no matter what,
matter.
I got the call.
Oh, man.
And so Mark and Cameron, they gave me the rundown of what they encountered over the past years. And once again, I'm like, this is amazing. This is real. This is happening. They're like, you're going to be on stage with celebrities. It's going to be you, however you, yeah. So,
Holy
and I'm like, can I interact? Because normally, if you work in theme parks, you don't say
Yeah.
hi to
Yeah.
celebrities
Yeah.
unless they say hi to you.
Yeah.
And I was asking them, can we say it? They're like, if they're feeling it, they'll play with you. Like the celebrities will play with you. And I got a chance to play around with the lead singer from Fits and the Tantrums. I can make your hand
Oh, yeah.
clap.
They were just
Yeah.
at Mardi Gras.
They were
Yeah.
just at Mardi Gras Universal. Well, I was messing around with the lead singer, having him do selfies in the crowd. Now, I didn't know he was a lead singer. I thought he was a guitarist at the time. So I was just goofing around
Even
thinking,
better.
I'm like, when the singer gets here, then I'm gonna, probably not talk so much because the lead singers, but the lead singer was the guy I was goofing around with. I totally thought he was like a bass guitarist. He was standing by the microphone on his phone, and I'm like, and I was running out of things to say because as a warm up, you just have to keep talking until they tell you to stop. And I'm like running out of material, and this guy's on the mic with his phone. I'm like, hey, dude, since you're on your phone, why don't you get a selfie with the crowd? He's like, okay, sure. And he starts taking selfies, and I'm like, when is the singer gonna get here?
Did you say that
I
on the
didn't say
mic?
that.
Oh.
I didn't say that. But then, as I'm leaving, as they say, all right, G, we need you to clear the stage. You're gonna do the first pass or the first run. So as I'm walking, I'm like, why is this guy not holding an instrument? I don't get it. and then right as the saxophone, I was like, oh my God, that's the lead singer. Oh man, I hope I didn't disrespect him or anything.
Oh man,
but he seemed like a good nature. I mean, he was
That's
taking
cool.
selfies, and one of the girls from Fifth Harmony was really nice and just
Calm down,
talkative.
calm down. Let me-
lucky
let me
guy.
fade you off, let me fade you
Yeah.
off.
I don't remember which one she was, but she started to talk as soon as they this one in front of the
Yes,
castle
God.
stage. Started just talking to me. She's like, it was so warm because I did the evening sets. She was like, it was so warm today. It was so hot, and it felt like a skillet warmer. I mean, just seconds. I'm just standing there. She's just talking to me, just like we're talking
normal,
now.
yeah.
And like it was warm outside.
You were at Animal Kingdom, right?
Animal Kingdom with Darius Rucker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Wanna be with
Darius
you.
Rucker is all business.
Oh wow.
His backup band is not. He has a bunch of goofballs for his backup band. So now, when I say all business, he was professional. But but he wasn't low. Wow, I'm happy to be here at Disney.
He's very Kurt Angle.
He came, very professional like Kurt Angle. He came here to do his thing, no more, no less. He's like, I'm going to sing my Winter Wonderland song. I'm being interviewed by Nick Lachey. That's it. That's it.
Oh, man.
But not in a bad way. But he's
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
professional.
yeah.
But his backup band were some of the silliest group of guys.
That's cool.
But the cool thing though, so where the Animal Kingdom stage was, it's you can see the Tree of Life, and they had a stage set up, and I was in between the stage and the audience, and Darius Rucker, don't call him Hootie. Darius Rucker is big on football and fantasy football.
Okay.
So in between takes, fans were shouting, "Hey, who do you have for your bigs?" He's like, "Well," and then just the Dolphins just traded away their running back,
Jay Ajayi.
Jay Ajayi.
Thank you, Miami.
So
No,
that
no,
just
there
happened.
you
He's
go.
like, well, my team just traded away the best running back. So there goes that. And I didn't say this on the microphone. I almost did. I thought it. So I was going to say, so did the Dolphins make you cry? But I knew not to reference anything Hootie around him. So I kept it to myself.
Oh, man.
So I kept it to myself. And he was all business. He just seemed like the guy you want to mess with.
Yeah.
So
that's
it was
so funny.
I was right there. It was
Oh.
like it was a softball, like a
And one of the coolest things ever is like I didn't realize that Gene was actually doing the warm up and whatnot for it. But I was at work the next day, and a friend of mine went to the show, and he's like, "Oh yeah, some of these are the photos." I'm like, "Wait a minute, go back, go back." I'm like, "Holy crap, I know him." He's like, "Oh yeah, he was the warm up guy." I'm like, "That's my friend Gene. I didn't know he was doing that. That's so awesome."
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's-
It was kind of nerve wracking. It's something I've never done before. I understand why they use stand up comedians. I'm not a stand up comedian, but you have to keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. I was like, wow. And I watched the other guy, Cameron. But Cameron's a Disney vet, and I would watch him, and he was just boom, 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 boom. But once again, that's comparing, his chapter 30 to my chapter 1, so to speak. He's been doing it for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
But just doing the best I can, just having fun and just being playful, doing what I do. And it was a challenge. I will say it was a challenge, but it was really cool interacting with Darius Rucker, Fitz in the Tantrum, Fifth Harmony, and there's a new boy band. So I was supposed to work with Hanson my first day out. I was supposed to work with Hanson.
Man.
Don't
But
say that. Don't
but
say that.
they switched, and I worked with some new boy band called In Real Life. They won this ABC show called Boy Band.
I
I
and-
never
show.
even heard of that.
So they were
I
yeah.
guess
I
I
don't think we're in that
That's a thing?
demographic. That's probably why.
Fair.
So they were mentored by Nick Carter from Backstreet Boys, and it was like one of those reality shows where they. But their management
Cool it.
was
No,
one of the
no.
managers from NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. Like, and one thing I noticed too, a lot of these groups, a lot of their management are older black people. Darius
Yeah.
Rucker had an older black guy. In Real Life had an older black guy.
I think his name was
Fifth
Johnny
Harmony.
Wright, right?
Johnny Wright,
Johnny
yes,
Wright.
Johnny
Yeah,
Wright.
How you know that? You don't know that.
Yeah.
Sir, I am a music
just said it.
aficionado.
So yeah, so I got a chance to talk to all the management while we were off to the side. But in Real Life, their management was Johnny Wright, and they were definitely polished. Those guys were professional every single take, from take 1 to take 5. They did the same thing over, and they sang live. That was
Oh,
the other thing,
wow.
though. They were
Wow.
they
Oh, wow.
were singing live. They were the harmonies were sharp. Their moves were like. So another hindsight where, man, I wish I would have said this on mic, but I didn't. Because they were awesome. Like the way they were singing, the way they were moving, you could say they were moving in sync. So that's what I wanted to say, but it didn't come out. It was something that, oh my gosh, it was there, but I couldn't quite like filter
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, like
They're-
refine it.
They refine it. Then when I
Yeah.
haven't refined it now, if I do it next year, and I was like, oh, I got back
Now you
pocket.
know what to
Yeah,
do.
got it,
Yeah.
got it.
Got an
Got it.
index card.
But
Hey.
but yeah, but those guys are really cool, professional. So I got a chance to share the stage. I got to be the warm up for the show, and the previous year it was nominated for an Emmy. So the odds are the show could be nominated for an Emmy. If it is, I would have worked on an Emmy nominated show.
Oh my
Wow.
So
Oh my
waiting to hear
God.
from that. So waiting to hear from the
That's
from
crazy.
the Emmy.
I mean,
Committee.
people. Wow.
You know. So yeah. So that's
Oh my gosh.
been my life since everything.
Like
Oh, yeah,
96.
96.
From 96 to, one door
Wow.
closes, window opens.
And then you even know a famous CG donkey.
CG Donkey? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donkey.
Yeah.
What?
He may know him.
You may know donkey.
Oh my God.
It was so funny because I didn't realize it at the time. We were friends at TNA at the
Yes.
time, and we were in the park, and I'm going
Sorry, I'm
past,
really excited.
and I hear like someone call out my name.
Yes.
Mike. And I'm like, what the?
Oh
what the heck? And Donkey's yelling at me and the Frocka and the kids and whatnot. It was only the girls at the time because Gavin was even thought of then.
Yep.
And sure enough, we figured out like, holy crap, Gene knows Donkey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Oh
Mike.
my God.
I see you out there looking at me.
I was just going to say, in the morning, are you making
In
waffles?
the morning, I'm making waffles.
So, yes. So,
Gene, I love Gene. God,
Oh,
I love Gene.
Thank
Man
you.
of many talents.
thank you.
The aficionado of bacon.
Bacon. Yep. Love everything bacon related.
And now you're hanging out with Flo doing progressive.
Doing the progressive tour as an MC. And the cool thing about going to all these different cities is I get to travel and try all the different foods. So I'm an MC by day, and by night, I guess I'm a foodie guy.
start a
I
blog.
went to your home area, Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Chicago, great foodie town.
Have some Portillo's.
Had Portillo's, had the cake shake. They take chocolate cake and they put it in a blender.
I'm crying.
And
No.
yeah,
No.
and I had that with the Chicago dog.
Well, they have a Portillo's. Don't they have it in like Tampa
In
or
Tampa,
something?
they do.
Nobody
Let's
wants to go to
take a road
Tampa.
But,
trip,
yeah,
because
nobody
I've
wants to go to
always wanted to
Tampa.
go, but you
But-
do it for food.
Oh yeah, I'll do anything for food. I'll go
Oh,
anywhere.
absolutely.
All right, so we'll go to Portillo's
Anywhere.
and we'll go see
The cake shake.
the Scientologist.
Okay, question.
Oh,
What's,
speaking of which,
what's Portillo's?
It's the hot dog place.
Oh.
It has the hot
Greg
dog.
Miller always talks about it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I had the cake shake. It was snowing outside. I'm like, I'm gonna have a shake.
oh, absolutely.
I came here. It was snowy, Chicago, high wind, snow. I'm like, I'm gonna. So I had a chocolate cake shake, and a Chicago dog, and a free slice of cake, which I didn't want, but I couldn't turn down because the lady.
And you ate it.
I ate it. I wish I hadn't.
Was it not good?
No, well, no. Here's the thing. So you know, you get the receipts. It's like if you look on the receipts and give us a review.
Yeah.
But this older lady was adamant. She was like, "Go ahead and fill out that receipt. Go ahead and do it now. Go online and fill out the receipt, and I'll get you either free cheese fries or a cake." And I already had fries there.
Yeah.
And she was looking at me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get to it." She was watching me.
No, you
She's
gonna
like,
do
you
it.
gonna? I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, and I didn't have like service at the moment. It was just out in dead area, so I'm like, I don't have service at the moment. She's like, okay, well, you'll probably
Here's
get the
my
service
phone.
back. So yeah, she was adamant. So I'm eating my my Chicago dog and my cake shake, and I'm already getting full because I was getting my set on fries and this.
Oh my
And I went to
God.
get us popcorn right before that, and so I didn't have the popcorn, but I'm like, I have a lot to eat. And she was like, so did you finish it yet? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm doing it now. All right, okay, you got it. She's like, so what do you want, a cake? I'm like, sure, I'll take cake. So I had this extra slice of cake. And normally I would have ate it in
poor
seconds.
you. Hard
But
life.
yeah, I mean the struggle is real. I just had the Chicago dog with the pickle and the peppers and the
Oh,
tomato and this and I was halfway through the cake shake, and here's a big slice of cake. Here, that's yours. It's
Oh my
free, and normally
gosh.
free is my favorite flavor. But I'm like, well, so I had to muscle that cake down,
Oh,
and I got
man.
most of it, a good deal of it. But I'm like, no, I hate throwing away food. I hate it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was just,
yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do anything
and
to avoid
I had
that.
I had a flight to catch. I was flying out, but man, oh my gosh, Chicago foodie town. I will say there's this ramen place that I had to Uber Eats because it was snowy outside. They did something I have never in my life seen ever done with food, and just thinking about it blows my mind. And you know how ramen they'll crack like a fried egg on
Yeah.
top of ramen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This place, they crack the fried egg, but they put pepperoni in the egg. Yeah. I think it just peaked the microphone in.
Wow.
Yeah, they put
We
you know
need
the
to go to
white part of the egg. They put pepperoni in the egg, and yeah,
That's
That's a game changer right
That was
there.
a game
Look at Didi's
changer.
face.
That's
game changer. I don't understand how they did it. I mean, I understand how they
was
did
it.
it, but
Was it crumbled pepperoni or
no,
like
it was
just like a full
big
on
pepperoni. So imagine like that fried egg,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the sunny side up,
Yeah.
the white part of it. There was pepperoni,
in the. Oh.
and then the white part of the egg on top of the ramen.
that sounds incredible.
It was
so
so
hungry
good.
right
I
now.
almost
I'm
broke
starving.
a window.
I'm sorry.
But yeah,
Jeez.
so every city I go to, I went to this place in Cleveland called Melt. That was actually a couple days after Chicago. So Melt, it's a all patty melt place. And-
Oh.
yeah.
Oh man.
And they put anything in a patty melt. And I had a deep fried lasagna patty melt called the Godfather, I think. And I have pictures, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, deep fried lasagna.
I don't know if I could
Didi's
do
eyes
that.
almost
In a
rolled to the
patty
back of his head.
And it was as awesome as you thought it was. And I have pictures like I mean it was yeah.
Let's go to Cleveland.
So that was Cleveland. So that was Melt at Cleveland. Then I had the biggest corned beef sandwich in Cleveland. It was about this. Yeah, that
I ate
was
enough
a
corned
bit
beef
much.
as a kid. I don't need that. no
And
more.
I understand, yeah, especially you.
Yeah.
But so that was it. So then went to where did I go to? Went to Chicago, Cleveland. Oh, Baltimore. Just Baltimore was just anything
Crabs, I'm sure.
yeah. So I got like steak with crabs on it, crab meat on it, I should say. Anything crab related, but it wasn't anything crazy or outrageous. Everything was just crab meat
Yeah.
infused or crab this.
And where are you off to next?
I'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota next weekend. I'm gonna try the Juicy Lucy.
What is
What's
that?
that?
Juicy Lucy is when you take 2 hamburger patties, put cheese in the middle of it, and you close it together, and then you cook it so the cheese is melting in the middle of the patty. So
my
when you
God.
bite into the burger, the melted cheese is in the middle of the.
Oh my.
I'm in love.
So-
you can do this at home.
I'm in love.
So yeah, you
So
could-
WrestleMania weekend,
Bro.
Whoa.
do it.
Yeah.
So
Let's
pulled
do it.
pork and juicy
Absolutely.
Lucy's.
yeah, Juicy
Oh,
Lucy. So
we better have extra toilet paper for the next day. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Buzz your
Everyone been
girlfriend.
going.
Wolf.
Oh man, that sounds amazing.
That sounds so
Oh.
good.
But yeah, everywhere I'm going, like Boston, I had to do the lobsters, and Atlantic City, I had with the White House subs, and I had this. I feel like a 4-foot long sub, where I ate half of it, and I give the other half to just a homeless guy in the boardwalk. 'Cause I'm like, I can't eat this. Like I can eat it, but
Yeah.
But do you need
so
to?
it was like the last day I walked on the boardwalk and.
And he says, "I don't want this. Give me
sandwich.
alcohol."
Yeah, that happened one time
He
in
didn't
Orlando.
trust it. He was like, don't know.
Yeah.
Could have done anything to it. So I'm like, I understand, but
Yeah.
I don't think
Here
he
it is,
ate
just
it.
in
But
here.
I'm just like, it's here.
Mm.
I do it. But then he started to walk and talk with me. I mean, nice guy, and I had some saltwater taffy because I was on the boardwalk. Well, first I had some Chickies and Pete crab fries. First, it's just fries with Old Bay seasoning on it, and I had cheese
Oh,
sauce.
man.
Chickies and Pete is like the famous Philly bar that you would go to watch an Eagles game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had one in Atlantic City. Atlantic
Yeah.
City's a big Philly
Yeah.
place. But he didn't want the crab fries or cheese, but he's like, I'll take some saltwater taffy. I'm like, dude, yeah. And he's like, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I live in Orlando. He's like, are they hiring? I'm like, always. Just make your way to Orlando.
Oh
He's
yeah,
like,
always.
Yeah.
always.
Someone is. Yeah.
Someone's
Someone
always
is, yeah.
hiring. So hopefully that guy's doing well. But yeah, so every city I go is a food adventure. In between me emceeing these boat shows and emceeing these boat shows, it's super. I'm like I'm a carnival barker. It's like we're the fun and games of Progressive. We just play games. We have
That's
virtual
amazing.
speedboat racing, and I just get people to come in, check in, play the games, and then they get prizes. So I announce prizes, and I'm like a game show host. I'm doing exactly
Yeah,
what
what you wanted to
what
do.
I wanted to do, like the Nickelodeon thing.
Look
So
at
I'm a
that.
game show host, but I go on the road with Progressive Tour, kind of like a game show host,
Yeah.
but for these boat shows.
That's
And
so
they
cool.
send me, they put me up in these nice hotels, and you know, I have a per diem, so $50 per day for what I want. So the cool thing is, I know those places I just told you I went to. A lot of these places also end up on, I end up in these places, and they're having to be on diners, drive-ins, and
Yeah.
dives just by
Yeah.
chance.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Well, a lot of
gosh.
these places will have massive quantities of food, like the deep fried patty melt. Well, that'll be my dinner, my breakfast, and my lunch, and that's actually saving my per diem.
Oh,
Yeah.
$50 per day. So
Oh.
yeah, so I'll go to one
I
of
was
these
just
places.
thinking, like, it must be easy to save that way. Oh my
It is.
gosh.
So I have the half of it for dinner, and then breakfast and lunch. So I'm not spending that much money on tour. So I'm going to these places first of all, which is awesome, and then I'm saving money
Yeah.
on my per diem. So it's like a win-win.
Oh
Look at
my
that.
gosh,
So
it's
much
like a
win.
win-win-win-win.
Gene
Win-win.
is legitimately the coolest guy we know.
Yeah.
I've said it for years.
Has to be. Has to
I
be.
can see it. Yeah.
Name someone else.
Gene, you are a I don't even know what the heck the word
An
that he uses.
inspiration.
Yeah,
Inspiration.
I do
It-
really.
it's
I
so
do.
cool just to watch
you should,
what
be
Gene.
like, you should think about being like a motivational speaker. Too.
You should.
I mean, are you gonna say you did that?
No,
I'm
I've
like,
heard that.
okay. I was like, wait. No, but like honestly, so inspirational. Like,
Yeah.
man.
Should write a book.
I've heard, it's funny, there used to be a commercial for the Navy, is like if somebody wrote a book about your life, would people want to read it? Join the Navy. And I remember that was
my
there.
gosh.
This was a couple of years ago. I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting there. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of, I glossed over a lot, but there's a lot of pockets of stories I could have told you. It was almost like never-ending story,
Yeah.
There's another
It's been so long.
It's like there's like you said, there's so much other stuff, and
There's
then,
so
like,
much other stuff, and then
I'm even thinking about now is like Magic backstage at TNA with you and oh god, who was it?
Nigel McGuinness.
Yes, who
He
is
was-
now doing WWE commentating.
Yes, he's an
Yeah.
amazing card magician.
Yeah.
Really?
He was a Desmond Wolf or
Yeah,
Yeah,
Desmond
that was
Wolf,
his gimmick.
Desmond
Yeah,
Wolf.
TNA.
Yeah. So he told me he learned card tricks because he used to travel to Japan all the time, and they didn't speak English. So he learned card tricks because you didn't have to speak English.
Wow.
Do card tricks, and he learned these card tricks, and I was like, dude, this is cool. And now, funny thing is, I'm like friends with magicians now. There are these local magicians in Orlando, and I became friends with them. And they're like, and they invite me over to their house. They call it the Magic Estate.
Oh my god.
They call it Magic, and it's these 3 magicians and a dolphin trainer lived in this house. It's like a reality show.
This sounds like
Yeah,
3 magicians and
and
a dolphin
trainer,
and
and
the
a lawyer.
rabbi says,
And a lawyer ranked them, damn near killed them. No, but yeah, so I got to know these magicians, and there's good human beings, there's good people.
yeah,
So, and it's so funny when in my head I'm like, I have friends that are magicians, but my kid self thinking like the mustache,
Yeah.
twirling
Yeah.
mustache,
Yeah.
and the top
Top
hats
hat.
and the caves, but they're just regular dudes.
Yeah.
But they make a living. I mean, they have a massive house because of magic. So it's called the Magic Estate. So they brought me over to the house. They cook spaghetti and then watch, Netflix. I'm like, I'm hanging out with the magicians right now.
where's
And-
my wallet?
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Hey, he's good.
your life is not real.
It's not.
Like, oh my god.
I said it's like Forrest Gump. Like I said,
Now
I love
you know why we've been wanting to have Gene on the
most
show.
Yeah.
amazing. So,
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be. And it's so funny. When Didi first approached me, I didn't realize you guys were in this together because he approached me like a while ago, and I didn't realize this was.
Did he
this.
say, "Hey, I have my own podcast. Nobody else is part of it"?
Well, you know.
I did all
But this was like months ago. He mentioned it, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds cool."
Yeah, because we were still over at Fun Spot then.
We're still
Yes,
fun
you
spot.
were. 'Cause
Yeah.
You told me about it.
Yeah.
Fun
Yeah.
spot. I was like, "All right," and he mentioned Tuesdays, and I live right across the street, so super convenient. It's just the timing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
time.
the timing's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you guys called me in between cities.
Yes.
I was in Atlantic City, and then right after Atlantic City, I went to Houston, Texas, for the rodeo
That is so fun. I've been.
so
Oh my gosh.
and the food.
I literally went for the food. I spent so much money.
Yes.
All my money went to the fair food.
Barbecue,
Amazing.
right? Just barbecue, right?
I had
Oh,
fair food. I
Like
had deep fried pecan pie.
cheesecake.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah,
Oh.
they had like deep fried. The big thing was like deep fried, like what chocolate chip cookies.
They had deep fried butter.
Oreos. Yeah,
Deep fried butterball.
everything.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
because
What?
America, because Texas.
Yes,
Texas.
they had really good fried pickle
'Cause
chips.
Texas.
They had like this baked potato stand that was just so
One
good.
thing I wanted to try, but I didn't. I saw it a couple years ago there, but I didn't have time. They had a chicken fried bacon
Oh my god.
there, which I didn't get to try, but I'm like, next time, chicken fried bacon, I'm coming for you.
Absolutely.
It's just chicken fried bacon.
Reminds me of that. What was it? Was it Taco Bell that had No, KFC that had it was like a chicken inside a chicken sandwich
But it
or
was
whatever.
so
The double
good.
down.
The double,
Yeah, double down.
That thing was
Yeah.
fire. It had spicy honey
Wait,
mustard.
can you explain this to me? How does this
So
work?
instead of a bun, it was actually 2 chicken fillets, and then it had chicken in the middle of it as well.
And they gave it to you in this like the
Wow.
paper gimmick, and you would just
it killed your stomach, but
It
oh
did.
man, it was amazing.
oh so good.
Oh my god! Speaking of stomach killing, so in Boston, went to this place called Boston Burger Company, which is kind of like Teak. You guys know about?
Yeah,
Teak?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So I had a bunch
I've
of
never been.
bunch of
Me neither,
oh
don't
my
worry.
gosh,
It's good.
I used to go
Phenomenal.
every Wednesdays with my friends from Disney. Anyway, so Boston Burger Company, like Teak, has crazy burgers. So I had the Elvis burger. It had peanut butter, banana, and bacon. I might have added the bacon to it.
That actually
Anyway.
sounds kind
So
of
I add bacon to everything. If there's a bacon option, I want it. So I had it. It was awesome. And then at 3 a.m, it came back.
Oh, man.
I'm like, no, Elvis. No.
This is how he died.
Elvis
This is-
came for
yeah,
you.
Elvis.
Oh.
I pretty much was doing the Elvis. But it was.
On that note,
Oh yes, on that highbrow.
Gene, I very much appreciate coming to the show.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Thank you for telling at least some of your story.
Yeah, a few.
For now, we're going to go ahead and get quickly
Quickly.
Oh, yes.
into the news.
The news. Oh, should I do?
Don't worry about the music.
Okay.
It's news time. The news. Oh yeah, news time.
So I have a few items on the list. I don't know if it's a Baker's
we don't even
dozen or
know
not.
if it's a baker's dozen.
So if everybody doesn't know or not, Lowry Park Zoo is now rebranded as Zoo Tampa and is announcing some upgrades. Did everybody hear about this yet?
No.
So Lowry Park Zoo is now known as Zoo Tampa at Lowry Park, and the animal attraction has announced upcoming improvements to go along with its new name and logo. Along with the new name and logo, Zoo Tampa released information on a number of upcoming upgrades to their facility. Roaring Springs, a family water ride presented by Pinch a Penny, is under construction now for a late spring opening. After that, the park will renovate their Florida realm with a Key West theme, expand the Florida boardwalk with black bear and panther habitats, install an upgraded life support system, and improve guest viewing at the David A. Straz Jr. Matinee Critical Care Center. Oh my gosh, they need to shorten that down just a little bit. And add other otter and stingray interactions.
Yay, stingrays.
They said, quote, "Our new logo is symbolic of our brand's evolution during the past 2 years and our vision for the future. It is representative of our growing commitment to wildlife conservancy, as well as the major role we will play in the heartbeat of Tampa's future," said Zoo Tampa at Lowry Park's CEO, Joe Cusiero. Yeah. Has anybody been out to Lowry Park before?
Never been.
No.
No, I've never
Really?
been. No.
It's really cool. I was out there a couple years ago, actually, when Pokemon Go started, because I remember I caught a ride-on there.
There we go. Right on.
They actually did like a laser show, like in the middle. They have this like a whole little section like mapped out where they have like food truck cart type deals or whatever, and they do like a laser light show. It's almost like what's this Star Theater thing that you go to?
the observatory.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but they put it like on a screen. It's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool, and it's a zoo. I mean, most everybody loves zoos,
Yeah.
but it's actually really nice out there, especially for being out in Tampa, because
Because Tampa.
I'm going there next weekend.
Speaking of Tampa,
Roll Tide.
so Busch Gardens Tampa
Red
is
Fair.
introducing year-round quick queue pass for $2.99. I'm not going to go into the whole story just because trying to get through some stuff. But would anybody actually be interested
Yes.
in this?
If I went to Busch Gardens at least maybe even once a month, heck yeah.
$2.99.
Yes,
Bro.
that's definitely worth it if you frequently go. I don't
Yeah.
frequently go, so.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because
a
I
good
think right
price.
now they have it here for one-day visits. Busch Gardens still offers standard single-use quick queue, seasonally priced at $14.99 per person plus tax.
no, it's like nothing.
And then quick queue junior for rides for height limits below 48 inches, $9.99 and up. I didn't realize it was actually that cheap for when you went there that day.
Yeah.
That's wild.
What's Universal's like
$80
for a day?
Well, it fluctuates. Some of the
Oh, did it really?
the fast pass, the express pass.
Yeah.
It fluctuates throughout the season.
Really?
So depending on how busy it is.
Yeah, how busy it is.
Really?
But it's
Yes.
still really expensive normally.
Oh.
Because Horror Nights, it's $80. No, Horror Nights it's actually 90, 90.
Actually,
Look at that. He's got
Ready.
a pamphlet and ready to go.
Look at this. He's come prepared.
So I've come ready to talk. So Universal Express, it does fluctuate. So it can go from 89. He's right. Right now we're in peak. But yeah, so I'm looking at peak prices. So peak prices would be 89 for one park. For
my
two
God.
parks though, 99. But this is on a Sunday. On a Monday, 109. For two parks. But on a peak night, on a peak day. So That's when it's worth it. But
I'm
off
good.
peak, it's less than that. It's not that.
Not that.
But then you won't really.
you don't need it
It's
anyway.
supply and demand, really.
Yeah.
So, Gene, I knew you were coming on the show, and I put this in here specifically for you.
I'm so thankful.
So Universal Orlando unveils the menu for Citywalk's Voodoo Doughnut.
Yes.
So Universal Orlando guests will be able to sink their teeth into a grape ape, mango tango, or any of the 4 dozen other treats on the newly unveiled menu at Voodoo Doughnut, which opens this spring at Citywalk Complex. Voodoo Doughnut, which was created by Kenneth Cat Daddy Poxon and Tresh Shannon, already operates a branch of its popular Portland bakery in Universal Studios Hollywood. It will launch its first Florida location in Citywalk in spring 2018 with a menu of over 50 different pastries, as recently published by Universal Blog Orlando. Featured creations at Universal Orlando's Voodoo Doughnut will include the Portland Cream, the Bacon Maple Bar, the Cereal Crusted O Captain, my Captain, and the iconic Voodoo Doll Donut, complete with a pretzel rod pin stabbed through his frosting heart.
So much win.
Old-fashioned cake varieties will be available, as well as raised dough, shell, and fritter-style treats. The biggest single item on the menu is the Texas, which is equal in size to 6 regular glazed donuts.
What?
Giving the Simpsons Big Pink Donut at Universal Studios Florida a run for its money.
Yeah.
And vegans will be happy to know that there will be Baker's Dozen different
There's your
vegan,
Baker's Dozen. Sorry.
vegan options on the menu, from chocolate cake to dairy cream filled.
We got a Baker's Dozen.
So I'm not gonna lie,
Yes, we
I
did.
could probably eat this Texas thing because
I'm
I can go through donuts so easily.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, who can't go through
I'm so
donuts?
ready for this.
I'm ready.
That's a win.
I'm hyped. Granted,
Has anybody had the Voodoo Donuts before?
I've always wanted to go to Portland for Voodoo Donuts because I watch a lot of Tribal Channel. So when I heard it come in here, I had that tear. You know?
Are you gonna camp out?
I live right
opening?
across the street.
Yeah,
Same.
he's gonna
Yeah.
just.
I
I'm
literally
gonna walk.
walk.
I'm gonna walk there. I don't know on opening day.
Wait,
No.
when is it open?
It says
It's not-
spring. I don't
spring.
know.
Spring,
if
okay,
it's-
it's soft open, and we probably get our discount being a Universal team member.
Oh.
Oh, man.
I won't go huge into this one, but I didn't know this was actually happening. So Green Meadows, the farm that was actually right there on Poinciana Boulevard, closed, and it's now seeking a new location.
That's really sad. I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently they opened up 30 years ago, and they held its last day of operations on January 18th, and they offered a half-off admissions in its final days. Much of the park's property was sold at a farmyard sale, excluding the choo-choo train, which was placed in the storage. The facility's 65-plus animals, including ponies, sheep, goats, and water buffalo, have all been temporarily rehomed while a new location is secured. Everybody's been in the Green Meadows, correct?
Yeah, I did
I
go
went
there on a
kindergarten.
field trip, I believe.
Yeah, that's where I remember I going. Like,
Yeah.
holding little baby chickies and...
Yeah, they were like,
Aw,
hold
so
the
fun.
chickies,
Yeah.
milk the cow, and I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I was that guy too. I was always too scared they were gonna poop on me. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm
no,
good.
thank you.
I was like, nah.
Number 5, we got to talk about it because it's been in the news like for us like every single week in the past 4 weeks.
As it should be.
Black Panther has done what no other Marvel movie could do at the box office. Black Panther remained in first place at the domestic box office for the 4th weekend in a row.
Let's go, baby.
Which is a first for a movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film earned an estimated $41.1 million this weekend, which is now the 3rd largest 4th weekend of all time.
Wow.
Black
Let's
Panther also
go.
opened in China this weekend, earning $66.5 million. This makes it the 4th highest grossing opening for a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie in the country.
Wow.
Holy shnikes.
Let's go.
And
Can
it's
I-
now across the 1 billion mark.
Let's go.
Can I interject
billion.
for a minute? I just want to. You know how we talked about the M'Baku challenge?
Yeah.
So did you see that the one kid that was like super good at all of them? I think it was on Good Morning America. Winston Duke like sent him personally a video and asked if he wanted to be a member of the Jabari tribe.
That's awesome.
So cute.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
so
I
sweet.
just had
Have
to
you
say
seen
that
the
'cause I was
video?
like, That's
No.
adorable.
It's the cutest thing
Oh my
ever.
God.
He does like the whole scene of when M'Baku comes down to challenge
Oh, really?
T'Challa. Yeah. He does like everybody's character.
That's
It's
dope.
hilarious.
He's so
All in,
good.
in costume and everything.
That's
It's the
dope.
cutest thing ever.
Amazing.
Rounding out the top 5, say Black Panther on number 1, Wrinkle Time number 2, The Strangers Pray at Night number 3, Red Sparrow number 4, number 5, Game Night, and at
Game
number
Night.
8.
Number 8, you just
Number
jumped to number
8.
8.
Guys,
Because I have to talk about
we
it.
have to.
Yes, please.
Quickly.
Oh,
The Hurricane Heist
Bro.
movie came out this weekend. It only made $3.2 million. I saw it Friday with Rocca.
I saw it Saturday by myself because I'm a loser.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Huge.
The movie was horrible. It was really bad, but it was amazing.
Was it like sci-fi?
It's kind of like
That's
a
what
sci-fi
they-
movie.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
surprisingly that I still don't know how it wasn't a sci-fi original picture.
Yeah, I don't get. I have no
I
idea.
really don't know, but for some odd reason, I loved it.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, this movie's terrible.
Yeah.
But it's so awesome.
Yeah, Brock and I kept looking at each other the entire movie and we're like, this is so dumb, but it's so awesome at the
yeah.
same
Like
time.
Sharknado level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this-
but you can tell the quality's a lot better. The effects are actually really good.
Like the part where he's like, all right, hold on because this is gonna hurt. Like he locks his like storm truck tank thing into the ground when he's being chased by the bad guys, and he locks it down. All of a sudden, the guys crash into him, and never do that again.
Never do that again.
It's so bad.
And then there was
bad.
but you'll like it. Oh, you'll like it.
They have like a pressurized mall because of the hurricane go over top of them.
gosh.
They strap themselves into like a harness. And they open up the windows in the mall, and all of a sudden everybody's sucked out, including them, but they don't have a scratch on them whatsoever through the glass.
And yes, they fall like 300 feet to the ground and
Totally
they're fine. And the brother, for some odd reason, mysteriously survived. I still don't know how that happened.
God, it's so bad.
But then, because my friend asked me at work, he asked me, "Is it Impossible White Man?" I go, "No, it's not Impossible White Man. It's not Impossible White Man movie. There's probably like one scene. Remember in the truck with the girl? She does he pulls the emergency brake.
Well, I was
and
gonna
then
say,
flips
the
up,
thing with the
boom,
mall,
grabs
I think,
it,
is an
and
Impossible White Man thing.
It is because they
Yeah.
have no scratches.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's not. It's more of a. You could tell there was the Fast and Furious director. A lot of car stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the original Fast and
The
Furious
original,
director, not Justin Lin.
Not Justin Lin.
Not
Yeah,
Justin Lin.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You could tell.
Wow.
But I liked it. I think everyone should movie pass it.
Yeah, Movie Pass. Yeah,
Movie Pass. Don't.
yeah.
Don't.
Gene, do you have Movie Pass?
I don't move fast. I just do the $5 Artigon.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
okay.
$5.
Just as good,
Yeah.
yeah.
And now
Yeah.
they have $5 Citywalk.
If you got a free morning, just you want to go see a stupid movie, want to get some popcorn.
Great
go see
popcorn
it.
movie.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
popcorn
yeah.
movie. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Toys R Us going bankrupt.
Still though, I thought I'm so confused.
Oh, but this
So
is this is real.
like hardcore.
So-
They're going to be closing.
So you remember when Gene said when he got his thing and it got real? It's getting real now.
Yeah.
Well,
like, they're
for
talking
so
about liquidating.
Long ago, I heard about
Like,
them
shutting
being
down.
bankrupt, so I was like, oh, they're probably gonna be closed, and then like they've stayed open this whole time. So
Yeah.
now they're closing.
Well,
Like-
I think they filed for bankruptcy, but nothing was like oh, we have to close up everything because you can still file for bankruptcy, but still be able to
Conduct your
overcome.
entire
Yeah,
business.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy.
This one, it sounds like all the stores are gonna be closing. Liquidation sales.
wild. But
so
yet-
if you need a Switch, we'll keep an eye out when Toys R Us is
man,
going them down.
yes.
And,
Yeah.
like, it sucks for other people working there.
It does.
But just they're so overpriced.
Yeah.
They're overpriced.
They
They
really
are.
are.
Yeah, I remember I would
Yeah.
take Gavin there to go get WWE figures, and there's like $30 for a figure. They can get like 10.
Yeah, their figures are very expensive.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You know, I noticed about, well, I don't know if this is on purpose or an accident, but the old Toys R Us theme, I don't want to grow up Toys R Us kids,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
bikes and trains and video games, big toy store. So remember that song, Royals by Lord?
Yeah.
It's almost the same cadence. From bikes and trains to video games is the biggest toy store there is.
Oh my God.
From Maybach, whatever that line she
Yeah, yeah,
says.
yeah.
It's almost the same cadence, probably by accident, but the diamond tripping.
That's
They
Bikes
should've-
and trains to video games.
Why didn't
the
Jeffrey
biggest
sue?
toy store.
They should have.
Jefferson sued.
Definitely should have.
It might have been just enough to where like, oh,
They
well,
had that extra in
that
it.
little. It's
Yeah.
not the same. It's not the same.
It's
Anything
not
changed.
the same. It's not the
It
same.
is not the same.
And mine goes ding.
Ding, 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 ding. So, well, probably just coincidence, but it crossed my mind. I'm like, that
That's
sounds
crazy.
familiar.
Yeah.
And then, of course, last week we had the Nintendo Direct happen, and I know Didi, you and I were both hyped. Just gonna go run through a couple of them really quick. So you have Mario Tennis Aces. They announced a little bit more for it. They had a good 5-10
wait.
minute.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Crash Bandicoot coming to Switch. Also coming to Xbox. The remake, well not remake, but the remaster of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker coming from the Wii U over to the Switch. I'm very hyped about this. South Park Fractured Butthole because I love the game. I beat it on PS4. I'll play it again, all over again on Switch.
As soon as you said it out loud, fractured butthole.
Gavin did the same thing when
So
he's
nice.
like, "Dad, that says fractured butthole." I'm like, yeah, it does. And Undertale, but the get hype moment of the week.
Oh my god!
I don't think I lost my mind like some of the other people.
I didn't lose
have,
my mind, but,
Super
like-
Smash coming to Switch.
It's a brand new game.
Yeah, I'm excited. We don't know
Get
any of the game
Get
or
hype.
the characters or anything. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the other two off for this week. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Yeah.
Well, actually, how long are we at? We're at 118. We're okay. We'll talk about it quickly. Universal is announcing a Pokemon Go style Jurassic World mobile game. Is anybody gonna play this?
Yes.
Really?
No,
I
I'll
love
put-
dinosaurs. Yes.
So the interesting thing is that they're saying that apparently you don't even have to walk anywhere. That you throw out like a
Wow, that's even better.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can hunt
Apparently-
dinosaurs from the convenience of my couch.
You can use it like an in-game drone, like to go walk the streets for you
Really?
to catch like
Nice.
dino DNA.
Nice.
I'm like, all right, so now you just want us to get fatter.
Hey, some of us don't have
Oh.
unlimited data. Okay, this is ideal.
How do you not have unlimited data by
It's a
now?
long story.
Oh,
I
God.
had it and lost it. It's a long story.
Let's see what happened.
And then of course the big news last week that I'm waiting for Didi to say why is that Jon Favreau was announced as taking over the Star Wars TV show that's going to be coming to the Disney streaming service.
Okay. Not.
I think this is an unnecessary show, but
Oh.
to each their own. I'll leave it at that.
You're still saying too much Star Wars.
Way too much Star Wars.
All right, Tori, you are our resident Star Wars nut freak, geek, nerd,
she's
whatever.
crazy about it.
I am Star Wars.
So what do you think about this?
I'm excited about it. I think he's a great director.
He's a
okay,
great.
look,
He is.
I see, but here's the thing: is like I take it you guys haven't really gotten into like Clone Wars, Rebels, really.
He is.
Like
He
they're
is.
so good. Like I'm willing to give it a try. I understand like the idea of oversaturation, but like I said, with the Marvel films, there's so many of them, but I don't
Yes.
feel tired of it.
Yes.
They do such a good job. So if they can continue to do a good job like they do in Clone Wars and Rebels, like I'm there.
But this is live action.
I know, but they can
Do
still
you-
do a good job story wise.
Do you worry about like the quality of the film?
Not
I mean, like
really.
Shield. Like
I
Shield is
definitely
good,
think-
but it's like the quality of like the
Yeah, that's
graphics or
absolute-
CG
oh,
or
no.
whatever.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I would like to think since the name Star Wars is attached, and because I'm sure that like ILM and Lucasfilm, like they'll be the ones doing most of everything, I would like to think that it would be fine and it would be really good. I mean, the quality of like something like Game of Thrones is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I feel like Star Wars deserves that level of like,
Are there going to be Jedi in this?
probably it's
I hope
in some
not.
capacity.
I hope it's
honestly, okay.
the Mandalorian
I'm not-
Wars, baby.
I've never been, not that I don't like the Jedi, I've never been super fascinated with them.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm more fascinated with, like I said, I think I've said it before, like resistance fighters or like that underground world of like bounty hunters and
The Mandalorians.
smugglers. So
Yep.
I'd like to see something like that, but I'm going to watch it no matter what. Let's be honest.
I'm all about the Old Republic. They bring. Oh, jeez, man. I tell you what, man. The Old
I don't know if
Republic.
they'll ever bring that back, man.
Yeah.
I understand. It's a good story,
It's the
but
best story.
I don't know if
man,
it's
it
gonna
was
get
so
it.
good.
I don't know.
That's it for mine. Do you want to go through yours?
I can go through mine really quick.
All right, so Didi's quick get hype news
Get
of
hype,
the week without the theme song.
Without the theme song of the week.
It won't be on the list. Don't worry about
It
that.
won't be on
one,
the
Gene.
yeah, it won't be on the list. I just randomly do this. Okay, so movies anywhere. There's some. You can put all your stuff together, but of course, there's some movies that won't be allowed depending on what movie studio.
Mm-hmm.
Fandango now is part of Movies Anywhere, so if you bought any movies through there, you can import it. I think it's still the end of April, and you get 2 free movies.
Cool. I just added Thor Ragnarok to my movies anywhere.
Okay,
All right.
Nice.
All right. Oh, that's right. They did the 70s gimmick like they did with Guardians.
Immigration song.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So good.
twice actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they
CM
put it
Punk.
twice in the movie.
That's-
Yeah.
Is going to lose again.
Yeah, he's going to lose again. He hinted he's going to fight again for the UFC in June.
Oh,
UFC.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know, right? Warren Buffett, if you haven't heard about his challenge, his NCAA bracket challenge, if you guess, he's actually nice with this one. If you guess the Sweet 16 correctly, it's only for employees only, though.
Oh.
I'm sorry. If you guess the Sweet 16 exactly correct, you win $1 million. What? For the rest of your life.
Oh.
Every year for the rest of your life.
Every
Man.
year for the rest of your life.
Every year. But if Nebraska and Creighton win, you get $2 million for the rest of your
What's
life.
the odds of this actually happening though?
Yeah.
The Sweet 16 is a lot easier than actually the bracket challenge you do for ESPN, getting exactly right.
Oh, you have to get exact. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which never happened.
Yeah.
Which never happened. Yeah. Marvel has a huge, crazy sale. This is one of those like sale things I'm going to do. They have a sale on their graphic novels, 99 cents on
Oh.
Amazon right now. Like over 300 novels.
Oh.
Graphic novels up for sale.
Okay.
So
Is it on Unlimited too, or just Amazon?
just Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is unlimited actually. I think
Okay.
so. I think
Okay.
so. The article had it. Yeah. Okay. Warframe, big MMO now. 5 years. It's at 38 million players.
Trinity still plays it every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah. It was like one of the first free games that was on the PS4 when it launched.
Yep. Yeah. 38 million players. That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more than Destiny. Ready Player One got Ready Player One got shown at South by Southwest, I guess a couple days ago, and it's actually decent reviews.
No. Did you hear what happened?
Oh.
So Spielberg was actually in attendance.
No.
Audio shut off for the movie.
Oh.
and then they restarted it, and then like it was out of sync and this and that. Yeah, Alana Pierce from IGN was there, and she was tweeting about it, and like
no.
so
This is
yeah,
like
yeah.
the Last Jedi experience.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about
Oh
that.
my
Yeah.
God.
The audio was out of.
Well, no, so it was supposed to be in 3D. I didn't really care though because I didn't want 3D, but that was the only movie I could get. But so the guy in front of us was really upset, so he like immediately ran and told them. So they stopped the movie,
What?
but they literally fast forwarded through the entire movie to get. I mean, as soon as I knew what was happening, I was
No.
like eyes down, but people were like yelling. Oh my god! I was like, this is the wrong fandom to do this with. Like,
I don't
Real?
think we heard that whole story.
I never
before.
knew that. What? This is opening night too?
Yeah, this is opening night,
Oh.
first showing.
At Disney, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No. This was at Cinepolis.
Oh, Cinepolis?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that Polk
And the
County,
people in
that's
front
why.
of us were
Okay.
mad because I guess that happened to them with like Spider-Man: Homecoming 2 or something. I don't know. I've had nothing but a good experience there. That was the only time that I had an issue, and they like definitely were. They gave us free tickets.
Sinopolis. It's like on the corner of I-4 and 27 as you're getting to like
Yeah.
past Champions Gate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Wow.
What?
But
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
Continue
crazy.
with your-
IGN gave Ready Player One a 7.5. So
Yeah, not bad.
Solid.
I'm excited for it.
I still don't know anything about it, so I'm really excited to see it.
Did you know that someone's
so much.
Didi has not watched any of the trailers?
I'm not a trailer guy.
So he had.
I understand.
So
So
he
I don't-
doesn't know anything about this movie, like who's in it, all the references.
Did you read the book?
nope.
Okay.
I actually ordered the book the other day.
Actually, all right.
$6.
Everyone does say to read the book
No,
because
no.
it's gonna be different.
No, here's what to do. I learned this the hard way. Back in my military days, I used to read Stephen King. And now I had watched his movies growing up. When I read the books, I was like, oh, this is way better. I got a better experience watching the movie first than reading the book. Because if you read the book first, you will always be disappointed.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Because the movies can't stand it. Books
Yep.
are so
Oh,
in
that's
depth.
good.
true.
Yeah.
So I would watch the movie first
Yep.
before you read the book because you have a better experience.
Heard
That's
that.
exactly what I did with Harry Potter. So like the whole Harry Potter series, I watched all the way up until the last book. Was what's Deathly Hallows?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I watched all the movies and then I listened to the audiobooks.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I'm at the 7th one now. The movies aren't out yet. Let me go ahead and just listen to the audiobook now. Yeah, it was the exact experience we were talking about.
Yeah.
Where I loved the books afterwards because it gave me more to the story.
Yes.
Deathly Hallows the book, and then I watched the movie. Like, oh, this is god
Buzz,
awful.
your
This is horrible.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Woof.
Literally that every single time. So if you get a chance, watch a movie, then read the book. You have a better experience every single
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
And that's if I get a news.
All right, we'll go ahead and real quick. New releases for the week.
New releases.
So movie wise, I'm really excited for this one. Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider comes
Yes.
out, the reboot.
I'm excited. I'm excited
With
for it.
Alicia Vikander. I haven't seen any reviews for it yet,
Neither
but
have
I'm
I.
really excited for it.
Yeah.
I still have to see Wrinkle Time. I still haven't seen it yet. I may go see it
Neither I need
sometime.
to see it.
I've heard just okay.
Yeah, I
I've
heard
heard
like
okay.
okay. I still want to
Okay.
see it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still want to see it.
And then Love, Simon comes out this weekend as well.
I've heard it's
Um,
gotten great reviews.
Really?
89%, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes.
Game wise, you got Burnout Paradise Remastered. And that's coming out the PlayStation and Xbox.
down to a paradise city.
Kirby Star Allies on the Switch, and then also Devil May Cry Collection on Xbox and PlayStation. And then a couple of real quick listener questions.
Questions.
I'm going to put these out of order.
Out of order.
So Matt Clark, he
Hey,
wants to
Matt.
know what's your favorite restaurants in Orlando outside of Disney Springs and Citywalk.
Oh.
I found a new spot.
Okay,
Oh,
what you
I
got?
know. Go on.
7 Bites.
What is that?
Huh?
I've heard of this.
7 Bites. They were actually featured in diners and drive-ins, and it's here in Orlando. It's right near the Orlando Executive Airport
Okay.
in that area.
Okay.
But it's kind of hipstery. It has that
Oh.
Orlando Strong mural next to it and rainbows.
Yeah.
I had a sloppy Joe bacon and egg sandwich. Yeah, one day, and then the next week I had a mac and cheese
Oh, you lost me,
biscuit
mac
egg. They put an egg in the middle of the biscuit,
Please
and then
stop.
and then
Oh
they
my
crumbled
God.
bacon and chips on top of the mac and cheese.
I'm there
That's too
for
much.
it.
You lost
So
me. You
it
lost
was
me,
called
mac
the
and cheese.
7th trimester.
Oh.
But yeah.
Oh,
But the sloppy Joe, egg and bacon, and then they have a bakery next to it. So I didn't even try the bakery stuff. They had like cakes and pies and cookies. Oh my, whatever. But yeah, 7 Bites.
7 Bites.
Okay.
Unreal.
All right, Tori.
I have two. I'll be quick. Taco China, delicious tacos.
Okay,
On-
everybody loves
What's that
tacos.
street called? Oh my god! But they're like really good. Like I've never had. Oh my gosh, so good. Mills. It's on Mills. And then my other one is now I can't think of it.
All right, well, Didi.
I'll think of it in a minute.
3 in the morning.
Let me see. There was this great brunch place I went to. It's called like I forgot what I called it. It was like Neighborhood Grill, Neighborhood
Okay.
Outlet. It's in Winter Park. It's really good.
So I know mine is not like a local place or anything, but I love going here. Texas de Brazil is like legit
Okay.
like one of my
Oh,
favorite places.
legit?
But pizza wise, there's a pizza place over by me. I think you've been there with me before,
Yeah.
maybe. Florentino's, maybe not. Maybe you did get
Yeah,
it.
you did. Yeah,
Was that
because
the night that we got B. Frank's chicken wings?
yeah.
Yeah, and I dropped it on the ground,
Oh,
and I put it
no.
back in the thing.
5-second rule.
5-second rule.
No.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
He ate it. It's
I mean,
fine.
it's not. It's not Polk County Giovanni's pizza, but you know.
No, they it used to be good, but the Florentino's pizza, they have like pizza muffins and
Pizza muffins.
Oh, it's so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Gene. I guess
But-
we're gonna have to have Gene over at the house and
Right?
bring him over to Florentino's.
There's actually
Yeah.
another local spot, Super Saiyan.
I was just gonna. That's what I forgot about.
Fire.
What is
Yes. I was
this?
just
Oh,
gonna say
sorry,
you
it's
guys
a ramen
probably
place.
just know it.
It's
a
Yeah.
ramen place?
It's a
It's
Dragon Ball Z theme.
Yeah,
I figured
Dragon Ball Z ramen place.
It's
and
delicious. Oh man.
fire. A little pricey, but fire.
That's cool.
There was a place near on Kirkman on the public shopping area called, I think, Mrs. Potato. And they have potato. It looks like, imagine a cake, but the cake is made out of hash browns. You can fill it with meats and cheese.
I think they're. Have you been there recently?
I went there a couple months ago.
you're
Do
not
you
a
think it might
cheese
be
person.
not open anymore?
I'm not a
okay. Well,
potato
no, because someone had
person. Oh.
described that to me and said it was closed, but that was a long time ago. They're probably it's different.
I had it a few
Mrs.
months
Potato.
ago. It's in the Publix Plaza in Kirkman.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, but apparently it's a Brazilian thing. They're run by Brazilians. It's a Portuguese dish where it's like a massive hash brown, but you could put cheese and meat in the middle of it.
I'm
Sounds
about that.
amazing.
I
I'm
hope it's
about
still
that.
open. I should look this up now.
Carl Medbury, Mr. 24.
Mr. 24.
He says, should I get a water park add-on when I get SeaWorld or Universal Orlando annual pass later this summer? Yes.
Good question.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
would
been
say
to
yeah.
Volcano Bay, but I love Aquatica.
I don't even like water parks, and Aquatica is great.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like water
Still
parks,
good.
and I like Volcano Bay.
Okay.
You been
so
to
there you
Volcano
go.
Bay? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a water park person. Volcano Bay.
I haven't been either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yes.
Rodney Medeiros. He says, I don't know. Don't know how much of your feelings you can share, but your thoughts on Kid Rock heading into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'll tell you it's a shame, and I don't like it. Thoughts on Celebrity Hall of Fame in general.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
No, sir. I don't like it.
I think it's horrible. I think that he has shown that he's kind of a bit of a racist, just a little bit. I don't think he's done anything for
To warrant this.
for the wrestling, other than having like
Taker uses a song.
American Badass music for his
When
biker
Taker was in
taker.
the bike, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think he probably had a couple songs here and there that were featured. I think it's horrible. I don't know how Cyndi Lauper is not in the
Cyndi
celebrity-
Lauper, the rock and wrestling connection.
Exactly.
She was integral
Exactly.
to connecting rock and roll and wrestling.
Exactly.
She deserves it way more.
I don't understand, her or who's
If we're doing celebrity,
yeah.
Literally anyone else.
Creed was like the soundtrack for WWE for like 3 years.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Man.
Come on. Lawrence Taylor. Remember that? Lawrence Taylor, Bam Bam Bigelow?
Yeah,
WrestleMania?
Lawrence Taylor
yeah.
would have been a good one.
WrestleMania
Yeah.
13? Come on.
I just
Yeah, he's contributing. Kid Rock
Yeah.
has not contributed to WWE in any way. Not like Cyndi Lauper, rock and wrestling, or Lawrence Taylor, who at least got in the ring
yeah.
Yeah.
and did something. But yeah, Kid Rock is.
Mike Tyson, is he in it?
Mike
Yes, I
Tyson?
think he is. Mike
I think
Tyson.
he
He
may
should
be
be,
in it,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. I
Nope.
hope it seems like the entire internet community is not for it either.
Nope.
I hope he gets booed out of the building. Yeah, I'm not.
But I agree that Cyndi Lauper should have been in well, but she connected wrestling
Yep.
and rock and roll before anybody did. And if you ever watch the video to the Goonies, the Good Enough,
Yeah.
the wrestlers are in it.
Yeah, Captain Lou Albano.
Captain Lou Albano.
Super Mario
is in
himself.
Yeah. So yes, Super Mario himself.
Yeah.
And but yeah, she connected wrestling and rock, and she's not in the Hall of Fame.
I know.
I don't get it.
It's it's WWE, man. It's,
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Well, Gene, I very much appreciate, or both of us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Very much
Yeah.
appreciate coming on the
This
show.
was
I
fun.
hope that if we're ever schedules ever meet up again, we
Absolutely.
can have you on, and we
Please.
won't just talk about you for an hour or so.
But it was
I'm
awesome.
sure you're
But it
tired
was
of
great.
talking about it. I'm sure, but your story is seriously amazing and just
Very
inspiring.
Very rocky.
Inspirational.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It is very rocky.
It's very rocky. I want to get up and kind of do something with my life. Honestly. Truly.
yeah.
Every time I
And
see
if
Rocky,
we
it's
get
similar.
for some reason we line up our schedule with Simon Says,
Yes.
the trivia guru in
We have-
Orlando.
Get some crazy theme park trivia in here.
Yeah.
Well,
you
and
can
we
do it.
have origins because it started out as the Simon and Gene trivia show.
Yes. Yes.
And then I let him have the show when I got busy with Universal Disney. Now he's the top trivia guy in Orlando.
He is.
That's amazing.
And it's
So-
funny because I actually used to, well, not here at this location, but when Gods and Monsters was over at Artagon, used to host trivia over there.
Yeah.
The connections are
Yeah.
never ending.
So, Gene, if anybody wants to follow you on your adventures, would you like to share your social media?
Yeah, I mean, it's open. My Facebook is open. It's
The DMs
Gene-
are clear, is what you're saying.
Yeah, everything's clear. Yeah. So yeah, Facebook Gene Lionel McGee Jr. Twitter Gene Magee with a G, McGee Magee. Twitter at Gene McGee. However, my Instagram, it's not personal pictures. It's all memes. It's all clean. But it's meme Gene McGee.
Wow.
That is-
Yes.
yes.
Wow.
And if you ever
Yes.
want to laugh, because Gene always finds the memes before anybody else does, and I laugh every single time.
My finger on the
yeah.
pulse of the meme, but it's clean. It's safe for work.
Yeah.
One thing I found out when you're working, especially like for Progressive and all that, they look at your social media before they hire you, so it has to be clean.
Oh
So,
man, I could
yeah.
never be hired by anybody.
Yeah.
I
So-
use the F word too much.
Yeah, same here.
So everything is just clean, safe for work. If you want a quick laugh, look at meme Gene McGee.
There you go.
Look at that.
There you go.
Yes.
Tori,
And that's my Instagram.
how about you?
My Instagram is at Boba Fox. My Twitter is at ToriFett. And there will be a new Blue Sky Beauty this week
Hey,
on the
let's
Attractions
go.
Magazine YouTube.
Let's
and
go.
it is food related, actually. So
Hey.
there we
Yeah.
go.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Didi, what
Oh,
about you, sir?
you actually did it.
I actually did it.
my. Yes.
We'll tell you after the show, Gene.
Yo, take after the show.
Okay, yes.
You can find me on all types of social media except Facebook, Black Timus Prime, BLAKTIMUS Prime, PRIME. You can follow me and stalk
Follow
me,
me.
and you can start feeling sorry for me. That'd be great.
Oh my God,
Oh
this
my
got really
God.
sad. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, it is at AttractionsEXP. If you'd like to send us an email, it is expansiondrive@attractionsmagazine.com. If you also, we're actually going to start loading up the shows on Twitch, so you can actually follow any of the shows you want to listen to or watch or whatever right there on twitch.tv/expansiondrive. And as always, like to thank Gods and Monsters for hosting us here,
Thank you.
5421 International Drive. I'd like to thank MEI Travel, Mastodon Travel, and Universal Fan Travel for sponsoring the show each
Thank
and every
you.
week. Reach
yeah.
out to them for a free quote
Free.
with no
None.
obligation.
None at all.
And of course, next Friday, March 23rd,
Let's
go
go.
over to Hard Rock Live. Come see us because we're actually going to be there.
Us three.
We're going to
Well-
do some fun stuff that we haven't talked about yet because we don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Yeah, so make sure you come out there and come see us if
Yeah.
you're going to be out there.
Come on.
Right there, Hard Rock Live. Go get your tickets. They're like $30. It's really cheap to see a great, like 2.5 hour show of
yeah.
live music.
Yes.
Live music. It's awesome.
And you get to meet Tommy Tallarico.
yeah,
Tommy
pre-show
Tallarico.
and post-show. You can meet Tommy Tallarico.
I think Gene is even gonna be like, guys, I'm sorry, Minnesota. I have to meet Tommy Tallarico. He was the soundtrack to my Navy life.
Just for the day. Just if I could fly from Minnesota to Orlando to Tommy Tallarico, the soundtrack to my boot camp.
But as always, thanks for listening.
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
watching.
much.
And from the good brothers and the good sister,
Woo!
Gene, too sweet.
Get hype. Woo!